Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be my 9-month update for Panda Palette 2022. Oh boy, it's starting to hit me. This year is going to be over very soon. I'm not ready. In this update, I usually talk about my baby Panda palette as well as my Panda palette. My baby Panda palette is a little side project I'm doing, working on my little palettes of 5 pans or less. I'm trying to get through them slowly, but basically I have a larger than average amount of those smaller palettes, duos, trios, quads, quints, and I wasn't working on them at all. They were too big of a product to put in a project pan, and they seemed too small of a product to put in a Panda palette. So they never got used. So Baby Panda palette was born in collaboration with a friend on Instagram who is not currently posting, but the idea, she used the hashtag Baby Panda palette and I loved the idea. So that's the story behind Baby Panda palette. I am currently working on a duo from Smashbox. This was in my Panda palette from 2 years ago. That was for the Panning Solitaire project theme that we did. And I hit pan on one of the shades, didn't make much progress on the other because I had another shade just like it as my single for my Panning Solitaire project. And yeah, I've been working on this for the last 2 years. It is going unbelievably slowly. Some months I only use this once or twice, and this month was one of those months. I used it twice in the past month. But let me show you a little picture of what this looked like last month. And this is what it looks like today. I really enjoy this palette a lot when I do use it. I just don't use it that often. I am working on way too many eyeshadows for a person that only has 2 eyeballs. However, I am slowly making progress and I'm happy to be enjoying and using this palette, even if there's not much to show from 1 month to the next. I will keep working on this probably for another year or so. Next, let's move on to my Panda palette. The theme for the Fantastic Ladies Panda palette in 2022 is Size Matters. That was a theme that was created by Jessica Lee, and you could interpret that however you want, but the theme was Size Matters. I went with my palette that had the largest amount of pans, my e.l.f. 100 pan palette. I received this as a birthday gift 1 year from e.l.f. Like if you place an order during your birthday month, we'll send this out to you, kind of a thing. The Fantastic Ladies are currently voting for the theme for 2023. It is a pretty interesting little competition. I actually have put in a bid for a theme, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great ideas out there. So if you're not already a member of the Fantastic Ladies and you want to vote on the theme for next year, you should head on over to the Facebook group and join. You're more than welcome to. They always ask a few questions to make sure you're not a bot or something, but as long as you answer the questions, you're going to get in. So I went with my e.l.f. 100 pan palette for my Panda palette theme this year. Let me show you a picture of what it looked like last month. And this is what it looks like today. All right, so I had only set 2 goals for myself for the last month, and I only accomplished 1. The first goal was to hit pan on this shade right here, and as you can see, there is pan. My second goal was to finish off the powder that I've been using as a brow powder for several months now, and I did not meet that goal. I am very close to finishing it off, but there is still product around 3¼ edges. Over the past month, I did also attempt to use that powder as an eyeshadow, which is obviously what it is. So I used it as a lower lash line shadow, and sometimes I used it on my lid, but it wasn't enough. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish it off. I think I'm in a good position for that to be another empty for next month, but it's still there. I really didn't use my kind of cream colored matte shadow very much in the past month. I like to use that shade to set my eyeshadow primer. However, over the past month, for the majority of my eye looks, I've been using a colored eyeshadow base, whether it's purple or green or bronze, and I don't need to set a colorful eyeshadow base with a cream colored powder. So I really haven't been using that shade a whole lot in the past month, maybe a few times, but I'm getting good use out of my colorful eyeshadow bases. So I'm okay with that. The shade that I have been using the most, aside from this one right here, is this one right here. I had pan on this. Actually, I had pan on that shade before this project even started this year. I hit pan on that a couple years ago, but I've definitely expanded the pan quite a bit. I've been using that in my transition area with a lot of the purple eye looks that I've been doing over the past month. Yeah, and it's been going very well with that. I'm happy to have, you know, been able to read. I love pink eyeshadow. What can I say? I'm happy to have had a chance to use it. I've also been using some of these purples with my purple eye looks. I also played around with some shadows that I haven't really touched much prior to this past month, and I really like them. First of all, this shade right here. This is just kind of a matte sandy brown, and I love it. I love this shade so much. It is gorgeous. It is a perfect crease kind of transition shade, and I was really impressed with it. I also played around with this shade up here, and that worked out really well as a transition shade. It actually reminded me a lot of the matte shade from the Smashbox duo. So if I'm going to reach for a light brown transition shade, I should probably reach for this one first. But let me see if I could do a little side by side. I'm trying really hard not to drop anything. Okay, so here is the shade that I'm talking about right up, up here that I've been using. Yeah, this is the shade I've been using in my crease and transition area, and this is the shade from the Smashbox. So they're not identical, but they're they're almost identical. Yeah, they're basically identical. It looks a little bit pinkier in the duo, but trust me, they're twinsies, which is great. It's a great shade. I've really been enjoying it. I'm happy to still be discovering new shades in this palette. When you initially look at a 100 pan palette of eyeshadows, your eyes just kind of naturally go towards certain shades that you're attracted to, and you kind of ignore a lot of the other shades. And that's kind of what happened with these neutral shades. Like, I was so focused on these bold colors, these beautiful pinks, that I didn't really even notice these shades until this past month, which is crazy because I've been staring at this palette almost every day for the last 9 months. But yeah, I'm just kind of looking at it like, oh wow, this is amazing. This is an amazing eyeshadow. I'm so glad to have discovered it within this palette, because I could see myself getting a lot of use out of this eyeshadow. I really thought in the month of September I'd be rocking these two shades a lot more, these kind of peachy and orangey crease shades, but I didn't touch them at all. I used this blue up here a few times. The way that I've found that I really enjoy wearing this blue the most is on top of a purple base. And every time I wear this shade on top of a purple base, I love the way it looks. I don't think I would like this shade as much on its own. And it did have a considerable amount of hard pan forming on it. So what I did was I took one of my makeup tools and I just kind of scraped it up in the pan. And then I just picked up the loose powder with my finger like that and patted it on my eyelid. And that worked out really well. I don't know why that shade got hard pan. I haven't had an issue with hard pan with any of these other shades at all throughout this year, but that one almost immediately, like on the first time I tried it, had hard pan. So I scraped off the top and used the part that I scraped off, and that took care of it. This is a shade I'm using as my brow bone highlight every day. I mentioned at last month's update that I'm kind of trying to wear it down evenly. I don't know, just for, you know, funsies. And so I don't have pan on this yet, even though I use it every single day, but I am trying to wear it down evenly. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job of it. I think there's a good chance it'll have pan by next month, even if I keep trying to wear it down evenly or not. I was really good at the beginning of this project of taking photos of different eye looks that I completed with this palette, and then I've kind of fallen off the wagon, but I did take one picture over the past month and I really liked it. Basically, for the eye look I'm showing up on the screen now, I used this shade that I was working to hit pan on all throughout my crease and transition area. And then I put on a silver colored eye base that's in my Partners in Cream project, and I layered, I think it's this one, the silver on top of it. This one has a nice formula and it works fine, but this one's the one that I've been really impressed with. It's a darker silver, but it picks up product beautifully. And yeah, I've really been enjoying that shade. I've been reaching for it several times over the past month for a nice like fall cool toned smoky eye look. But on my lid in the photo I'm showing you, I had this lighter silver all over my lid. I'm trying to get some use out of this side over here. Not doing great at it, but I'm trying. Okay, let's talk about some goals for next month. There's nothing really jumping out at me as I'm looking at this palette, obviously, other than to finish this shade I've been using as my eyebrow powder for so many months. I want that gone. I think I can do it. So that is goal number one. If I can hit pan on this brow bone highlight, that would be great. It's the only brow bone highlight I'm using every day. But like I said, I was trying to kind of wear it down evenly. So that might keep me from hitting pan over the next month, but I'll be using it every day no matter what. I haven't really been panning a look using this palette at all in the last few months, and panning a look is really how I hit pan. But when I look at this palette, this definitely looks like a shade that I could finish off next, you know, this one and then this one up here. And so I think for the next month, I would like to focus in on those two shades and see if I can get closer to finishing those two off. Probably not by next month's update, but the month after that, maybe for the November update, I will be able to finish those two eyeshadows off if I focus in on them. I will also still be doing a lot of purple looks for the next couple weeks between now and the end of the Graveyard Project pan. So I'm imagining I will still be using this pink a little bit more. So maybe I could get to like side pan, or, you know, hit side pan for the pink shade up there. That would be good. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have any goals. The shades right now with the biggest dips that don't have pan, aside from my brow bone highlight, are this kind of orangey yellowy shade and this green down here that I was working on quite a bit early on in the year, and I stopped probably after March. I probably pushed through with these greens through St. Patty's Day and then took a break from them. But those two are the two shades that seem to be the closest to hitting pan at this moment in time. Obviously, expanding any of the existing pans would be great as well, because the goal is to finish them off. So that's where we are at with my Pan That palette, you guys. I'm still having so much fun with all of these eyeshadows. Both my Baby Panda palette and my Panda palette are very old. They're not like super high quality. I mean, Smashbox is high quality, but e.l.f. is certainly not known as a high quality brand. It's cheap makeup, but I am having so much fun using these products. I tend to incorporate other products in to make it more interesting or add a little bit of sparkle to my look, but I am having a ton of fun with this palette this year and I'm really enjoying myself. And I love that every time I finish a pan of eyeshadow that I get a point towards my low buy bank. So yeah, it's going really well. That is everything for this update, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.